If you're wondering how I get up here, you actually use the lower roof there down under the garage, and then I climb up onto the second part of the roof. Welcome to my roof. Pretty gray day out here, and it's the long Memorial Day weekend, so we're gonna do some antenna stuff today. I brought the 70 centimeter repeater into my QTH, and that's the South Lyon owned club repeater. That repeater didn't have a home, and it's temporarily here, so I gave up one of my antennas to put that on the air, and it's not seeing a whole lot of activity, but I would like to keep it on the air at least until we can get into a permanent home. So I did buy an antenna, and that X300 antenna is about 10 foot tall, just like that X6000 over there. And it's going to go in that spot, and it's going to be the repeater antenna, and I'm going to get my tri-band antenna back for my Icon 9700. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got all the antennas turned off, so all the hardware down there is connected, is turned off. But we need to do a little rearranging here on the roof, so we're going to get going on it today. Welcome to the Everyday Ham Roof Edition. Folks always ask what I'm using to get it through the roof, and it being coax and all the other things. I use the ComDeck mount, and these are intended for DirecTV satellite installations. They're kind of a interesting mount. So the cap goes on here, and then you push a sill plate up under the shingle here to keep it sealed up. And of course, I lifted up these shingles, and then I put a significant amount of silicone in there too to help seal it. But the ComDecks have been really good to me. I've used 2 of them. I've got one on the other side of the roof as well. And you can see I'm repurposing this dish vertical mount here to put my pole in, and that's what I have one of my antennas on. This is actually my main pass-through that goes down directly into the shack. I'm directly over my shack where I'm sitting here, so it drops straight through the sill plate in the wall there, and then I've got a pass-through there in the wall that feeds all of the cable. So you can see this one is going up to the tri-band. This is going to the GP3. There'll be another one, LMR 400, that's going to our new X300 antenna. So if you're curious, that's how I do it, and well, we're up here getting this thing detached. What I need to do is take this cap off next, and that'll let me push the new cable run through, and then we'll run the cable run up across the peak of the roof down to the pile of antenna goodies over here. That's the X300, the LMR 400. You can see I've started to bring some tools up as well. I try to minimize my trips to the roof when I'm doing this. Kind of just one of the things that I like to do, and really try to be calculated about the things that you're doing while you're on the roof. It's just a dangerous spot to be, so be really careful when you're up here. All right, ComDeck cap is removed. There's 4 screws that mount that thing in, machine screws, self-tapping, and what I've got here then is the exposed under part, and you can see what happens is the water runs down across here, and then it gets diverted both ways, keeps your entry point dry. And I've drilled a fairly significant one. You can tell that actually that plywood's very visible there, so you can tell that it has not seen any water ingress at all. So there you go. That's one of the big reasons I like these things. They're really, really easy to install. Just about anybody can do it on an asphalt roof like this. Down here, there's a little trough. This is where your cables will pass out of. We've got just enough room with the hole that I've drilled to push at least, well, probably 1 more cable, maybe 2, depending on what we run. But we're going to run LMR 400 today, so we'll get that pushed through now, and then we'll start to cap this back up and situate the rest of the antenna parts. We are using Bolton Technical 400 coax. This is copper-clad aluminum, so it's not the best coax in the world, but it is less expensive than the alternative, so fine business for what we're doing up here. You can see I'm using one of these Starlink non-penetrating roof mounts for this. We'll load that thing up with weights once we get things situated, but that's 1 more trip to the roof, so probably 2 to be honest with you. So we'll get this cable run over to here, back over to our penetration in the roof, and then we'll install the cable along the ridge line here. And there's actually vents there that I use to push in some holders, some cable tie holders, to help hold it in place, and that has been pretty effective over the course of the last couple of years. See if we can nail that. Give it a little something. Oh, she's gonna be tight. Yep, that's probably the last one we're getting through there. So that's all right. We're running out of space up here on the roof, and really we've got these too close together anyway. But cable's in. We'll move this over. We'll push the remainder down so that we can feed it into the shack in a moment, and let's get that done. Yeah, so we're getting these tightened. Now the far side caps are a little bit harder to get to. I sit on the inside, so I'm not over by the edge of the roof here. But these are 8mm, and well, if you get a comm deck, I guess that'll matter. But get it in there, snug them up. There's 4 of these, one on each corner here. And I need to put the other ones on. I know you guys on the internet are gonna complain about the installation here. So a couple things. I don't have what I would consider to be like a traditional drip loop. I just basically run this down. Of course, the sloped roof headed that way down. So when I fold these back around, I count those as drip loops. Yeah, maybe I'm taking a liberty there, but it works just fine. As you can see, there's no water under there. And then I usually just, I'll throw some zip ties on here to clean things up, just to keep things a little more tidy once we get it going, but give you an idea here. So I'm gonna put the last 2 screws here. That'll let us start setting up the antenna system over in the middle of the roof where I'm a little more comfortable operating. All right, I know what everybody's asking is, what are these wires and why are they guyed off here? Well, what they are is parts of other antenna systems. So in classic HOA ham fashion, this is my end-fed half wave here. This runs down to the gazebo down there. You can see it laying on the ground, perhaps in the foreground of the picture there, and that is the my antennas, 10 through 40 1,000 watt end-fed. The other antenna, which is laying across my uncut grass back here, is the DX Commander SIG 9. And that is what I have done here is I've extended with paracord. So that is paracord, multiple guys here that go out to a 80-meter extension for that DX Commander Signature 9. Now the SIG 9 doesn't necessarily support 80-meter out of the box, but Kellum does give you instructions on how you can cut and replace one of the bands for 80. So that's what I did. I wanted to have 80 here at the shack. Okay, another little cable management trick. So I fastened the 2 that are going to send down this way, all the way here with some zip ties. But I take the cutoff zip ties and I actually have some corrugated roof vent under here. And it's real easy to push the cable up under here just to keep it kind of tidy, and then find one of those little holes and push the remainder of the end of the zip tie. You need about 4 or so inches. But what it does is it helps organize that. And these aren't going anywhere once we get them. I put them along here probably every 2 feet or so all the way down. I've had these up here for years, and pushing them in is a great way to make this look a little cleaner. I know it's not perfect, guys, I understand, but it's a nice way to make them look cleaner, and you can reuse the ends of the zip ties that you're cutting off. Great little cable management trick for you. All right, what are you using to mount it? I use these Starlink non-penetrating roof mounts. They're awesome. They're cheap, and you don't have to drill any holes in your roof. They're great for low wind load antennas. You know, don't put a beam up here on a Starlink mount. But if you have a vertical with no wind load or very limited wind load, these things work great. All you need to do is load them up with bricks. You can see the GP3 over there. She's been there for better than a year. Hasn't moved an inch. We're going to load this one up with some extra bricks because this is a little taller antenna, but no problem at all. Cable will feed through there. I created a little 3D printed reducing collar because this was a little bit larger post to center this, and then you can see the provided diamond antenna. We'll run the 400 up through there, and we'll get this thing set up. All right, now for the fun part, the Diamond X300. And we're going to set this thing up here. It is a dual bander, like I said. I got some decent gain on it, 6.5 dB at 2 meter and 9 dB at 70 centimeters. So yeah, not bad. It's rated for 200 watts. So nothing that you would use for big power on VHF or UHF, but it'll be a great antenna for the normal mobile radios and the repeater that we're running down there. I have 100 watts on the repeater. I have 40 watts on the repeater. I have 100 watts on my 9700, and then 50 watts out on all the mobile units that I run in the shack. So yeah, this will be a good antenna. SO239 connector, so no, it is not N. It is not type N. I think all of the stuff that I have up on the roof is actually PL259, so go ahead and tell me now that that's wrong, but hey, it's working, and you can see all the tools here. We're going to assemble the X300, and then we're going to get it set up in the Starlink mount. And I just got done managing that cable that we talked about. It looks pretty good. Can you see it? You can see a little bit of it. It works pretty good. Use the end of those zip ties and clean those things up before you get off the roof. It'll just make it look more tidy. Maybe you won't get an HOA strike. All right, just have to screw the two elements together. It is a two-element vertical, so about 10 foot. The gasket slides down to a little mark. You can see it there. It's a black mark on the tube. And then this collar is what actually threads in here. So we'll put it all together now, and it's really a pretty simple antenna to install, all said. Just make sure that you tighten that up nice, and you clean up the brass rod, the element inside there, before you tighten it, just to make sure that the electrical connection is good for the antenna. All right, the last step here is to, of course, install the radials. So the counterpoise radials are in the base here. There's 3 of them all the way around, and not terribly long, but screw them in and then use that jam nut to tighten those up so they don't fall out with thermal contraction and expansion. But that should be the end of this, and then we'll hook the antenna wire up and get her in the mount. Give you a view of the install. So got the loop there, follow along the peak of the roof. We'll tighten up with a few more of those zip ties that we've been talking about, and then to the non-penetrating mount in the X300 standing up here with some good separation from the other antennas here, but still pretty much on the same plane, so we're going to get descents no matter what. But this will work, and that'll give me another antenna to connect to. I need to load up the plates with the weights now, so we'll go get some weights and tidy up the final parts of the installation. Okay, now I'm in the attic, and this is just below the entry point for the antenna wire that we just pushed in the Almar 400. The attic is filled with blown insulation. You can see I enter way over there by the light bulb. Well, there's an antenna here. That's my little tri-band antenna for 2 and 1 1/4 and 70 centimeter. But what happens is it comes in up there, and you can see kind of, there we go, we moved the light around a little bit. We can see where we have those 3 LMR 400s dropping down, and then it drops down, and see if we can get you guys in there. There is an entry point underneath all this insulation. Maybe you can see it. It's tucked in right there. It's actually where all the antenna wires go, so I had to pull that down, and then I pushed all of that wire down through the wall, and we have to go down to the shack now and button up the rest of it. But we're close on seeing if this antenna is going to work for us. All right, let's put a bow on this one. Why did I do what I did? I have 3 antennas on the roof, VHF, UHF now. So the X300 is the new one, and that one is for my repeater. So down here, you'll see we have the System Fusion repeater here. It's a DR1X. It's running in auto mode. This is actually the club's repeater, and it needed a home. So it got the new X300 antenna, at least for now, until we get a better site for that particular repeater. My other radio up here, right there, the ICOM 9700, that one is my X6000A. So that one runs up to the tri-band antenna so that I have 1.2 gig access as well. Now, I haven't made any contacts on 1.2 gig. There's very few folks that are running that around here, but it is cool to have. And so we've got the correct antenna on it. I do have it into a triplexer behind here so that I can run the single vertical for all 3 bands. Now, the ICOM 9700, of course, it's designed for satellite, it's designed for really light signal work, so this is just a suboptimal antenna for this machine if you are doing that type of work. But just so you know, it is a fine antenna if you just need it for local work, repeaters, that type of thing, and I get out really well on 100 watts with that. The last one is over in the corner here, and you'll see there it is, the FTM 500. That is actually my APRS machine, so if you look closely at the screen here, you'll see my APRS IS stack running with Dire Wolf, and that's what I run my APRS digipeater on. I've been running that for close to 1.5 years now, and when I started running it, there wasn't a whole lot of coverage here in South Lyon, so it made a lot of sense. Since then, some additional machines have come online and have started to fill in the coverage, but it helps a lot with the really low power signals here in town, so I leave it running, and it works out really nicely. So we've got the whole system installed. I'm going to sign off here. Guys, if you liked this one, leave a comment below. Let me know what antennas you're installing this summer. This has been an Everyday Ham do-it-yourself session, and I'm just showing you what I did. Don't do the same things that I do. I'm sure they're not perfect. We'll catch you next time. 73s. This is Nate JRD signing off.